5th. The Catholic Church has come under criticism for centuries for not moving quickly enough when it comes to keeping up with the times. But this morning, a change of tradition was seen by the Pope's first general audience of the new year. Plus, have you paid down those bills from the holidays yet? If you have personal expenses coming up, you may need to brace for some sticker shock. We've got those stories and more ahead for you, but first, let's start with the pandemic. School's out in Chicago this morning after the city's teachers union voted to switch to remote learning due to record coronavirus case levels. It's a hot-button issue in the country's third largest school district. Officials don't want to switch back to online instruction district-wide, as they say it was devastating for children's learning and mental health. But the union says the district's safety protocols are lacking, and both teachers and students are vulnerable. Students returned to class Monday after a 2-week winter break, with COVID-19 infections and hospitalizations at record levels. In Hong Kong, 2,500 people were stuck on their cruise ship today after reaching port and being held aboard for coronavirus testing. That happened while authorities announced a 2-week ban on flights from Australia, Canada, France, India, Pakistan, the Philippines, Britain, and the U.S. will take effect Sunday and continue until at least January 21st. Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam also announced that arcades, bars, and beauty salons will be shut down, and restaurant dining will be forbidden after 6 p.m. Hong Kong has reported 114 Omicron variant cases, and yesterday came across its first untraceable case in nearly 3 months. Incense wasn't the only thing in the air at the Vatican this morning. Change was as well. Pope Francis called for simplified adoption procedures and urged couples to have more children as he presided over his first general audience of the new year. But that message may have been slightly overshadowed. For the first time, a layman and a nun provided the English and Spanish translations of Francis's weekly lesson, rather than a cloaked Monsignor, a small but revolutionary change for the Vatican. Francis also asked couples who can't have children to be open to adoption. He said this kind of choice is among the highest forms of love and of fatherhood and motherhood. The Pope called for adoption procedures to be simplified so that the dream of so many children who need a family and of so many spouses who wish to give themselves in love can come true. Priests still provided translations of the message in French, German, Portuguese, Arabic, Polish, and Italian. Authorities in Panama are searching for 2 Americans who went missing when their small plane crashed into the Pacific Ocean and quickly sank. 3 others on board the private flight have been rescued. 2 of them were also U.S. citizens. The third was the plane's pilot, a Canadian. Panama's Civil Aviation Authority said the 2 missing Americans are 57 and 70 years old, but they did not identify them. Searchers in boats and aircraft combed the area off the coast south of Panama City. The single-engine 5-seat Piper Cherokee 6 crashed into the ocean Monday on a 50-mile trip as it was heading from an island back to the Channel Nation. Another recovery effort is also still underway in Colorado. 2 people remain missing after a fire last week forced tens of thousands to evacuate. Boulder County is distributing $5 million in donated funds to people whose homes were damaged or destroyed. Volunteers there are handing out water, and utility crews are going door to door to restore power. Firefighters are monitoring smoldering and damaged structures and vegetation in the fire zone between Boulder and Denver as the wind picks up ahead of a snowstorm expected to blow through today. Federal investigators have narrowed their search for the fire's cause to a sparsely populated neighborhood near Boulder. Authorities say it's the same area where video was captured of a burning shed the day before the fire was started. In recent years, if your used vehicle was getting up there in mileage and needed a handful of repairs, you may consider trading it in rather than getting it fixed. Well, Tolly Anderson tells us why you may want to reconsider repairing your ride.
Used cars are becoming more popular than new cars as prices for used cars are skyrocketing. Prices have soared so high, so fast that buyers are being increasingly priced out of the market. According to Edmunds.com, the average price of a used vehicle in the United States in November was a little over $29,000, 39% more than just 12 months ago, when the government reported the consumer inflation rocketed 6.8%, and experts don't believe the high prices will ease anytime soon. When the pause button was pushed in March 2020 to slow the spread of the virus, many things changed. Auto plants did their part and suspended production to try to slow the virus spread too, and sales of new vehicles sank. Fewer people traded in used cars and trucks, but more people spent money on laptops and monitors to work from home. And that led to semiconductor makers to shift production from autos, which depend on such chips, to consumer electronics. And auto plants tried to restore full production, but chip makers couldn't respond fast enough. Used vehicle prices have jumped 42% more than double the increase for new ones. Last month, the average used vehicle price was 63% of the average new vehicle cost. Before the pandemic, it was 54%. 2 years ago, monthly payments for the average used vehicle was just under $400 a month. The November average payment showed $500 a month. And while many are looking to use instead of new vehicle dealers have about 1 million vehicles available nationally. That's only 1/3 of the normal supply. So with that being said, the sales game has changed, and for people who have no vehicles to trade in and only modest incomes, options look to be few to none during this time. I'm Tolly Anderson reporting.
35 years ago, Pleasant Company released a line of 18-inch tall dolls who came with stories of yesteryear in America. Grade schoolers learned about history through the eyes of 4 American girls, as if they were their contemporaries. And now the 2022 American Girl of the Year has been announced. Get ready for an adventure of a lifetime at the majestic mountains of Aspen, Colorado. Meet Corinne Tan and her little sister Gwen. Over the years, the collection expanded and became more inclusive. And the stories of these characters growing up in America, often as the first generation of their family to do so, helped teach children about American milestones and some of the tough stuff kids as young as 8 face, like having an unconventional family or dealing with one another's feelings through coming-of-age tales from a variety of eras and walks of life. As for Corinne and Gwen, they've always called Aspen home, but they're navigating moving into a new home after their mom remarries. Corinne also needs to muster the courage to talk to her parents about her new dream. She wants to become a rescue dog trainer and adopt a puppy. And Gwen is excited about her very first ice skating competition. The girls, along with their puppy and other accessories, and the books about them are all available at AmericanGirl.com. And in other news this morning, a new clinical study from UCLA found that just 4 weeks of eating grapes led to significant health boosts like lower cholesterol and better heart health. The team tracked 19 relatively healthy people between 21 and 55 years old who consumed about 1.5 cups of grapes each day. The superfood is rich in powerful antioxidants that dampen inflammation. The study confirmed that those scientific facts aren't just fun to say. Participants' LDL cholesterol levels dropped by about 6%, and bacteria that helps control fat and sugar went up by more than 40%. The simple lifestyle change could reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, the world's #1 killer, which claims the lives of an estimated 17 million people each year, accounting for a third of all deaths. Previous research has linked eating grapes with combating cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and boosting libido, although that may also have to do with drinking grapes, which was not a part of this particular analysis. Stay with us. Weather, sports, and more are headed your way. With your latest headlines, I'm Victoria Idoni. Have a wonderful Wednesday.